Hey everyone, and welcome to this Tuesday, December 3rd edition of FreightWaves Now. Up a little bit later, I'll give you a brokerage update, but first, our carrier update presented by PowerFleet.
Welcome to your Tuesday carrier update sponsored by PowerFleet. My name's Kyle Cunningham. Thanks so much for joining me yet again today. Let's take a look at what's going on across the country in regards to outbound tender volumes. Still flat, not a huge change from yesterday, but taking a look at last year's seasonality here, you can see that after the holiday period it ran up again and then came down just a little bit. So here's something we have to look forward to as the 7-day rolling average comes around. The volumes will come back up. What will be a telling sign of the holiday season is where these volumes continue leading into the end of the year, the end of the decade, the end of December. Let's take a look at outbound tender rejects. As today stands, they are actually trending way back down. So a little bit of a slide back down to 7.67, still a high from way back. So very favorable to the carriers. Take a look outside of your normal routing guides. The contracted freight tenders are being rejected, indicating that your assets are that much more valuable. Looking across the country, a daily change from yesterday. Not a lot of bright greens, some darker greens, but a lot of red as well. We talked about Quincy yesterday. That one's now turned down 7%. Taking a look, Duluth, Minnesota, that's one to look at. St. Cloud as well, and Minneapolis. So Minnesota, that is going to be the state to look in today. If you've got assets near Minnesota, make sure you get what you're truly after on that one. Let's take a look at some markets across the country. Wilmington, North Carolina, a quiet market in general. Don't talk too much about this one, but 10.82%, indicating that capacity is underneath the crunch here. You can see a big jump up from under 7.5% to almost 11%. 1 out of every 10 contracted freight tenders being rejected. Taking a look at outbound volumes, kind of strange that the volumes drop way off and the rejections run way up. So not a lot of outbound, but not a lot of capacity. So take that into account if you're anywhere near Wilmington. Moving over to where we're going to be in Knoxville, Tennessee, 9.3% on the outbound rejections. A slow climb up from underneath 5% all the way up to 9.3. Same story here. The volumes dropped off before Thanksgiving. Where we're at now, should see these coming back up. So volumes heading up in conjunction with rejections heading up. Knoxville, that's one to watch in the great state of Tennessee. As always, thanks for watching your carrier update, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Hey everyone, and welcome to your Tuesday broker update. So tender rejections in the country starting to level out a little bit. We're coming out of the Thanksgiving holiday, Thanksgiving break. We're still around 7% national rejection level. So that means that capacity itself still a little tight, but it's starting to relax just a little bit as we come out. So reefer rejection rates right here in the green starting to fall a little bit faster than the van rejection rates, but still elevated for the most part. Looking at some of our most volatile markets in the country right now, you'll see outbound reject volatility here. So the Quincy market, Spokane, Billings, Dubuque, Medford, not a lot of big markets right now popping off in terms of rejections, but these are going to be the areas that you're going to want to make sure that you cover the loads first. Also look for increasing margin opportunities in these markets. Nationally speaking, we've got tweener outbound tender rejection rates. So these are going to be the loads that are moving 450 to 800 miles in length in general. So there's going to be a lot of high revenue opportunities in some of these areas, but they're going to be difficult to cover because a lot of these carriers are simply not willing to go that length of haul. So let's dive in and see what we're looking at in the overall market. So the map that I have behind me, anything that's tall and blue is an area for you to watch. So if you're watching this video, pause it, look at this map. Anything that's deeper and dark blue, you're going to want to pay attention to. Savannah, over here in West Virginia is very small volume in West Virginia, but Savannah, you're seeing a little bit increased activity, but it's also a blue market. Quincy, Illinois, what you saw up there, small market, but it is blue. Pay attention to that. Up here in the Northwest continues to be a problem. So I have the Spokane market pulled up behind me on the chart, and you'll see that reefer rejection rates spiking out of Spokane, as well as long haul tender volume. So if you're looking to make some high margin opportunities on some freight today, look to the Spokane market, especially if you're hauling with reefer carriers. And that'll do it for today's brokerage update. And that'll do it for today's edition of FreightWaves Now. Make sure to check us out on all our social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. And also make sure to check out our FreightWaves Live app.